Hey man, look, we're all out here chasing some kind of dream, pursuing some kind of passion. And in a culture that is hyper fixated on go, 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 have you ever felt guilty about even just thinking about taking a break? It often feels like the second you hit pause, everyone else passes you by. I feel like I've been very transparent with my relationship with that mindset. So I have to say, this is the first thing that I've created since intentionally stepping away from creativity, passion, everything Armond Wake Up for 60 days. Today, we're going to talk about why taking intentional breaks from your passion is absolutely essential to your long-term success. It's absolutely essential to your happiness, and it's absolutely essential to your overall health. What's going on, everybody? My name is Armond Wake Up. I'm an MC, I'm a DJ, I'm a certified life coach, multi-hyphenate, everything, whatever I feel like doing. Also husband, father, military veteran, regular, 40-hour-a-week working. And I've just returned from about a 60-day creative pause. No creating, no posting, no pursuing, none of that. And in this video, I'm going to share why that is one of the most healthiest decisions I've ever made. And I believe if you apply some of the things that I'm going to share in this video, it'll be just as beneficial for you too. First things first, I want to talk about the trap of constant creation and pursuit. Many of us feel trapped by algorithms, and in turn, those algorithms make it so easy for us to compare ourselves to other people and what they have going on. It creates this constant pressure, this illusion to stay productive and essentially staying relevant. We feel like we have to remain continuously active, and not just active, like successfully active. We want to put up our Sports Center highlight reels. In this hyper-capitalistic society, everything that we do has to be monetized or turned into a part of your personal brand, and LLCs and 1099s and this whole boss culture. And it's just a lot. You know what I'm saying? So when we're not creating, when we're not pursuing our passions or what God has called us to do, right? There's this fear of irrelevance. As it relates to social media, if you're not posting consistently, the thought is that you'll lose followers. Or if I'm not pursuing this next thing, contract, career move, building, growing businesses, degrees, whatever, there's this idea of this spot that we have to not only obtain, but also guard with our lives. And stopping essentially means to fall behind from this, illusion of a rat race. And really, when I think about that, it's anxiety-driven productivity. And that expedites burnout rather than creating and pursuing out of genuine love and measuring success by realistic progress. Anytime I've taken a break, there's always been this fear. If I don't finish this idea, if I'm not outside networking at all of the events, then essentially, the world would move on without me. And I would essentially miss out on what I believe that God was supposed to have me do for him, right? We very easily project our own insecurities onto a calling of God, which is crazy. And I'm recording this video because I feel like if you're watching this, you've experienced something similar a few times. I want to ask a question, and I would love to hear your feedback. Have you ever ignored clear signs of exhaustion because you thought resting meant falling behind in life? Now, if the answer is yes, if the thought of stepping away feels scary, if that thought feels impossible, listen, you are not alone. I am here with you. You know what I'm saying? And I think it's human nature to wrestle with that idea. But I'm here to tell you that taking an intentional break, it creates room for clarity. It provides opportunity for you to experience genuine, authentic rest. Authentic rest ignites productivity. It ignites enthusiasm. And that in turn produces a fresh inspiration. It's crazy, like taking a break reveals like a exhaustion that was hidden. You may not have even been aware of how tired you really were. That exhaustion and anxiety can bury through this like constant activity. And I think a big thing for people as it relates to pursuing their passions is being consistent. We start house of fire, we burn out, we stop. But if you can implement a well-timed break, I believe that it produces the ability to be productive for a longer term. So I briefly want to talk about a well-timed break. What does that mean? I think the same way that you schedule meetings, the same way that you set due dates, you can also implement breaks into your schedule. I think it's a safe bet to say that most of us take breaks when a day just so happens to not be filled on our calendar. Oh, I don't have any meetings. I don't have any clients. Let me put my feet up for a day. The other side of that is taking a break when your body tells you to take a break. You're tired, you're frustrated, you got brain fog, your anxiety is higher. So it is really up to you for how you want to play that. You can either be intentional and schedule it, or your body, it keeps the score and it will tell you that you need to sit down. And those breaks are never fun. The next thing I want to talk about is what to do with your time during your break. Do you just sit in a room and twiddle your thumbs? Some people, when they take a break, they fill their schedule with other projects that are, in their mind, disconnected from their passions, their pursuits, what have you. I think this is the place where self-care lives and rules and reigns. So I'm going to briefly share some of the things that I did during my hiatus. So I got back into therapy in October, but around the time of this break, my therapist and I began to engage EMDR therapy. I don't want to turn this into an EMDR therapy video. I'm going to do a deep dive of what my experience was like. I'm going to share like very vulnerable and intimate details over on my Patreon. So make sure you join me there. Outside of algorithms, building community, all that good stuff. But EMDR changed my life. Engaging in EMDR therapy is one of the best decisions I've made for myself as an adult, far and away. I got to slow down and really lock in with my family. Some of y'all know my wife and I, we have a big blended family and we had multiple birthdays. We did traveling, re-engaged some hobbies. I hadn't DJ'd in a long time. If you follow me on Instagram, you saw the screenshot of the text message that my mother sent to me that showed that I hadn't streamed on Twitch in 6 months. I still haven't done that, but I just practiced playing video games, scrolling on my phone less. Columbus, Ohio has an amazing library, so I read some books. I also got back into the gym consistently. And again, I'm going to share all of these details in a separate video that is more vulnerable, more intimate. That video will be hosted on my Patreon. When I engaged in this self-care, my body responded immediately and I felt clearer. I felt healthier. I felt happier. And with that, ideas began to return. I got excited about my work again and I felt joy in pursuing my passions. Sometimes you need that break to re-engage with the things that matters most. When you're healthier holistically, mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally, it gives you an opportunity to reassess your goals. Your priorities begin to shift. Explore your expectations, because you can get into the rabbit hole of your work and your expectations can go completely out of whack. And now you're on this like hamster wheel that produces that anxiety and that burnout. So taking a break allows you to put a focus back on sustainability. Who am I at this stage of my life? And what is a realistic pace for my race that I can run, and I may not be the fastest, but I can still be successful. Because when you get on this hamster wheel of pursuit that is influenced by these external factors of, again, algorithms and comparison, insecurity, you end up setting goals that don't align with your values. Now you're just trying to keep up, and it's not about creating, and it's less about financial freedom and more time for family. Like, it just becomes all of these unhealthy things. And it's funny because this sounds like something that everybody should know. But let me tell y'all, as a life coach, I am constantly working with clients that know it in theory, but they're consistently losing that fight. They don't know how to prioritize self-care. The idea of stopping and taking a break terrifies them. So I know this information is necessary to share. And I don't want to speak from a place of expertise. Listen, because let me tell y'all, man, when I first took this break, I didn't want to do it. You know what I'm saying? I just dropped an album. I wanted to really promote it. You know, my goal in 2025, I shared this at the end of last year. It was to get healthy and it was to rap. And in hindsight, what I realized was that I thought that the rapping, the doing, the creativity, the process of that was going to lead to me getting well. I was very, very, very wrong. You know what I'm saying? I was very wrong. You know, those first few weeks, I wrestled with guilt. I felt like I was letting people down, but these are things that I explored in therapy. I was able to explore how I felt about taking a break, how I felt about putting down things that I believed were super important that needed to be done immediately, have conversations with other people that maybe I felt like I was holding up or, you know, serving as a blockage to whatever I felt like my role was in whatever they had going on. And every single person I talked to was like, nah, Armond, like, you got it. Go for it. Like, take care of yourself. You're good. We got time. And that's something, again, I'll get into this in my deep dive on Patreon. But as you get older, you become closely acquainted with time. When you're younger, you feel like you have all the time in the world. When you get older, you feel like you don't have any time left. And I feel like a lot of that wrestle is with reconciling your relationship with time. And so with that support, man, I can very easily say that this break saved my creativity, strengthened relationships. I was able to prioritize my idea of success, and I feel so good. So what's going to be interesting moving forward is how to implement creativity and implement pursuit into all of these new hobbies and new habits that I've established in my time away. The gym is now a non-negotiable. Therapy is now a non-negotiable. Now I have dates and obligations that I've committed to for my wife and kids. How does growing all things Armond Wake Up fit into this new ecosystem? You know, we'll find out. So listen, if you are still watching this video and you feel burned out, you feel overwhelmed, you are wrestling with fear of taking a break, be it creatively or personally. First of all, I want to tell you, it's okay to take a break. It will actually benefit all of the things that you want to do. And if you feel like you need some help with taking that break, make sure you join my Patreon, because I'm going to host a coaching session with my community, and we're going to explore what that looks like. You know, and I've got some tips, some tricks, some tools, some support to help you successfully sit down for a season. Before you go, I'm going to ask one more question. Have you ever intentionally paused your passion, your creative work? Leave a comment, share your story. I would love to hear about it. With that said, I'm out of here. My name is Armond Wake Up. I want to thank you for watching and leave you with a reminder. Taking a break does not mean quitting. It does not mean you will fall behind. It is a necessary part of your journey. I'll see y'all next time. Thank you.